We are running out of time. The world is changing faster than ever and not in a good way. But what if I told you that sustainability isn't just about saving the planet? What if it's actually the key to saving ourselves? The fight for sustainability is more than an environmental issue. It's about survival, innovation, and a future where progress and nature don't have to be enemies. Let's talk about how we got here and, more importantly, where we're going next. Sustainability isn't some trendy buzzword. It's been around for centuries, even if people back then didn't slap a fancy label on it. Indigenous cultures nailed it first, understanding that nature wasn't just their backdrop, it was their survival kit. The Haudenosaunee, the Maori, and many others practiced resource management with a simple rule: don't take more than nature can handle. They used rotational farming, controlled burns, and other methods that basically scream, hey, let's not wreck the place we live in, smart. Fast forward a few centuries, and we completely ignored that memo. Enter the Industrial Revolution, factories belching smoke, rivers turned into chemical soups, and cities expanding like a bad case of acne, all in the name of progress. The more we built, the more we burned. And the more we burned, the more we polluted. The air got thicker, the water got filthier, and the planet? Well, let's just say it started looking less like a thriving ecosystem, and more like an overworked, sleep-deprived college student running on energy drinks and regret. But destruction breeds wake-up calls, and by the 19th century, the conservation movement took off, thanks to people like John Muir and Theodore Roosevelt, who decided maybe, just maybe, we should stop bulldozing everything. National parks were created, wilderness was protected, and for a brief moment, it seemed like people actually cared. The problem? Conservation back then was more about keeping nature pretty for hikes and paintings than actually tackling pollution or resource depletion. Still, it was a start. Fast forward to 1962, and Rachel Carson's Silent Spring hit like a plot twist in a horror movie, revealing how pesticides were wrecking ecosystems and human health. The book exposed how DDT, a chemical people once thought was as harmless as a sprinkle of salt, was actually poisoning birds, fish, and, surprise, humans too. That wake-up call led to Earth Day in 1970, when millions of people flooded the streets demanding environmental protections. The U.S. government responded by creating the Environmental Protection Agency, EPA, proving that people could, in fact, care about the planet and still function. Then came the 1987 Brundtland Report, which basically said, hey, maybe we should grow our economies without totally screwing over future generations? Groundbreaking. This was the moment sustainability got its official definition: development that meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. Sounds obvious now, but at the time it was revolutionary. The 90s and 2000s saw global agreements like the Kyoto Protocol and the Paris Agreement, where world leaders gathered, made pledges, and then, well, some kept them, some didn't. The 1992 Rio Earth Summit was another milestone, setting up international commitments to tackle climate change, biodiversity loss, and environmental damage. Meanwhile, science kept dropping receipts. The Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC, laid out undeniable proof that humans were torching the planet with fossil fuels. Cue the clean energy boom: solar panels, wind farms, and hydroelectric power rising like superheroes in a Marvel movie, but with less CGI. Governments started pushing for renewable energy, and people realized that relying on fossil fuels forever was like trying to run a marathon while inhaling smoke: exhausting, unsustainable, and definitely not a good time. Businesses jumped on the bandwagon too, realizing that sustainability wasn't just good PR, it was also good for profits. Enter ESG investing, where companies that prioritized sustainability got the financial thumbs up. Suddenly, being green wasn't just a hippie thing. It was a serious business move. Companies started slashing emissions, rethinking waste, and marketing themselves as eco-friendly. Because, let's be real, nobody wants to buy from a brand that openly trashes the planet. And let's not forget the Grassroots Warriors. Activists, youth movements, and Indigenous leaders standing on the front lines, reminding us that sustainability isn't just about policies, it's about action. Greta Thunberg and the Fridays for Future movement made headlines, but long before that, Indigenous activists were leading the fight to protect forests, rivers, and sacred lands from destruction. These weren't just protests. They were battles for survival, cultural preservation, and climate justice. Now, we're looking at a future shaped by AI-driven environmental monitoring, circular economies that ditch the use and toss mindset, and ambitious net zero goals. Innovation is pushing sustainability forward. Companies are designing products that last longer, governments are setting emission reduction targets, and scientists are working on carbon capture tech that sounds straight out of sci-fi. But here's the thing. Climate change isn't taking a coffee break. Biodiversity is still in crisis, and environmental justice is far from equal. The solution? A collective effort from individuals, governments, and businesses to push sustainability beyond empty promises and into real lasting change. I'll leave you to discuss in the comments. What's the biggest challenge holding back sustainability today? Politics, corporations, or just good old human nature? Support us by subscribing if you haven't already. Take care of yourselves, take care of your loved ones, and I'll catch you soon in another video.